I'm Moses Gaither Ganem, and I use he, him pronouns. And along with Reverend Krista Taves and Reverend Dee Evans, welcome to Eliot Chapel. We are a free, liberal congregation aspiring to the ideal of beloved community. Today's service has been organized and will be led by our wonderful immigration justice team. Sue Myers is available for pastoral care if something is weighing on your heart. If you or a little one become restless, there is a live feed of the service in our fellowship hall where there's plenty of room to run. There will also be snacks after the service, and you're welcome to take your children to the playground. To our guests, thank you for being here. Lynn Murphy from the Welcome Team is happy to answer any questions you have about our congregation or Unitarian Universalism after the service. There are guest forms at both entrances to the sanctuary and at the QR code on the screen so we can stay in touch. Please join our coffee hour and take a blue cup so we know to welcome you. If you are a member or friend, look for the blue cups and be sure to welcome them. Our online coffee hour will be at 1:30. Also, after the service, we will be having a book signing. A book signing is when a person officially joins our congregation as a member. This important event will take place today at 10:45, so directly after this service, in the sanctuary. If you wish to join us, please remain quietly seated. Or if you would prefer to go straight to coffee hour, please go ahead and do so. And we warmly welcome all new members, our friends and guests, to witness this occasion. And now I invite you, as you wish, to join in our welcome today by responding with "You are welcome here" after each statement. If you are black, brown, white, indigenous, APIA, whatever your origins, you are welcome here. If you are an immigrant, a refugee, or a person without documentation, you are welcome here. If you believe in God all of the time, some of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. If you have a disability, visible or invisible, or are neurodiverse, you are welcome here. If you have been here 100 times or just came today, you are welcome here. If you want for nothing or struggle each day to make it through, you are welcome here. No matter whom you love or what your gender identity, you are welcome here. For this is a community of diversity, of love, and of justice, and it is good to be together. Let us enter into the spirit of worship.
Spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed your grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Catherine Lee Bates wrote this version that we all know so well, but there have been many singer-songwriters over the years who have added alternate verses, including Paul Stuckey of Peter, Paul and Mary, and others. And today I offer you these verses that were written by Jesse Paladowski and John Morris. Oh, beautiful thy immigrants who hail from every land, and diligence, like gifts from God's own hand. America, America, thy grace shall yet remain to greet the poor who reach thy shore with open arms again. Oh, beautiful, oh, Mother Earth, all nestled at your breast, just as we sing with love and pride, so all nations are blessed. America, America, alone cannot abide. God give thee pause to mend thy flaws, with truth thy only guide. Oh, beautiful, for sacred skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed your grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Good morning. My name is Lee Street, and I'm a member of Eliot's Immigration Justice Team. And I am going to, can you hear me? Okay. I am going to read a passage from the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, and it's titled Threads of Resilience, the Stories of Immigrants Who Paved the Way. The experiences of immigrant families are rich with narratives of resilience, sacrifice, and aspiration. Their stories illustrate the complex duality in which they live, embracing the opportunities this nation provides while advocating for a more just and inclusive future. This is what Rachel, one of the immigrants, said about her experience. Honduran by birth and now a U.S. citizen, I do not take my immigration story for granted. We do not choose our birthplace or conditions we are born into. Both the obstacles and the opportunities I've experienced have impacted me. We must refuse to accept the obstacles and inequalities as status quo. It's not one person's responsibility, but everyone's to create the immigration change we need.
And now please join us for our opening hymn, number 361.
You may stand.
And you may stand. Thank you. In Unitarian Universalism, covenants are the agreements we make for who we want to be as a people. Let us join in speaking our congregational covenant. As a free congregation, we promise to one another our mutual trust and support. To create beloved community, we promise to be kinder to each other than we have to be, to listen fully to each other with an open mind and heart, to speak respectably and respectfully, to find ways to improve our church for all members and friends. Please be seated. Every week, we share our offertory with a community organization that reflects our values and commitment to service. This month, we are sharing our plate with the Migrant and Immigrant Community Action Project, or the MICA Project. The MICA Project provides low-cost immigration legal services and community outreach to help immigrant families in St. Louis overcome barriers to justice. Their services include legal assistance for family cases, naturalization, removal defense, and asylum. You can donate through the shared plate or through the QR code on the screen and in your order of service. We practice generosity, knowing our gifts create ripples of love in our community. Let us be a generous people. Please join me in dedicating our offering. To the work of the Church, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives, and these are offerings.
Wisdom story.
My name is Natasha Case, and Kathy Becker is assisting me today to provide the wisdom story. Our book today is called The Day You Begin by Jacqueline Woodson, illustrated by Rafael Lopez. There will be times when you walk into a room and no one there is quite like you. Maybe it will be your skin, your clothes, or the curl of your hair. There will be times when no one understands the way words curl from your mouth, the beautiful language of the country you left behind. My name is Rigoberto. We just moved here from Venezuela. And because they don't understand, the classroom will fill with laughter until the teacher quiets everyone. Rigoberto from Venezuela. Your teacher says so soft and beautifully that your name and homeland sound like flowers blooming, the first bright notes of a song. There will be times when the words don't come. Your own voice, once huge, now smaller, when the teacher asks, "What did you do last summer? Tell the class your story." "We went to France," Kayla says. "These shells came from a beach in Maine." A boy named Jonathan holds out a jar filled with tiny shells so fragile they look like they'll turn to dust in your own untraveled hands. "My whole family went to India. We went to Spain. I went to South Carolina." Each souvenir of your classmates a small triumph of a journey, their travels going on and on. As you stand in front of that room, you can only remember how the heat waved as it lifted off the curve below your window, and your days spent at home caring for your little sister, who made you laugh out loud and hugged you hard at nap time. You can only remember the books you kept on reading long after she had fallen to sleep. And in that room where no one else is quite like you, you'll look down at your own empty hands and wonder, what good is this for sharing when other students were flying and sailing and going somewhere? There will be times when the lunch your mother packed for you is too strange or too unfamiliar for others to love as you do. When even your own friend Nadia will wrinkle her nose and say, "What's in there anyway?" And you'll wonder how she doesn't see the rice beneath the meat and kimchi. You'll wonder why she doesn't remember that rice is the most popular food in the world. There will be times when the climbing bars are too high, the run is too fast and far, the game isn't one you can ever really play. "I don't want him on our team." "You can watch. Maybe you can have a turn later." There will be times when the world feels like a place where you're standing all the way outside of. And all that stands beside you is your own brave self, steady as steel and ready even though you don't yet know what you're ready for. There will be times when you walk into a room and no one there is quite like you, until the day you begin to share your stories. "My name is Angelina, and I spent my whole summer with my little sister," you tell the class, your voice stronger than it was a minute ago, "reading books and telling stories, and even though we were right on our block, it was like we got to go everywhere." "Cool, your name is like my sister's," Rigoberto says. "Her name is Angelina too." And all at once, in the room where no one else is quite like you, the world opens itself up a little wider to make some space for you. This is the day you begin to find the places inside your laughter and your lunches, your books, your travel, and your stories, where every new friend has something a little like you, and something else so wonderfully not quite like you at all.
And I invite you to join me in this time of prayer and meditation. Settle in comfortably and take a few deep breaths to enter into this sacred moment. This prayer is called On Being Grateful in Frightening Times, and it was written by Reverend Lisa Dodge. Let us offer thanks for our fear of what might be lost, for it reveals how much we have lived with for so long, and it reminds us how much others have lost already, or never had. Let us offer thanks for all we fear losing, for we have been truly blessed with bedrock liberties, relative prosperity, national and individual, personal agency, and security of those thereof, some of us less than others, but nevertheless. Let us offer thanks for our fear of what is to come, for it means all is not yet lost. It means we know what we must prevent, what we must preserve, and what we must make whole, stronger, more just. Let us offer thanks even for the breaking of our hearts, for in the cracks, resolve might not take root, and revolution might blossom. Let us enter into a time of silence for the prayers and meditations of our hearts for a few seconds. And now let us speak the names of those who we hold in care. For the blessings born of fearful times. Amen and blessed be.
Meditative hymn number 1003.
Morning. My name is Paula Folks. I'm a member of the Eliot Immigration Justice Team. Our reading today is called Spiritual Life by Samuel Lozano de los Santos from a book called Voices of the Border, which is a compilation of testimonios edited by Tubin Hansen and Mary Ingracia Robles Nobles. Migrants are men and women in motion. Throughout their long journey, they experience a true calvary of afflictions, insecurity, disease, inclement weather, hunger, thirst, extortion, kidnapping, and even death. Despite this, they keep moving forward. Be it on a bus, aboard a train, on foot, they carry on. Migrating is not merely moving. It is banking on seeing one's deep yearning realized. According to Pope Francis, in essence, migrating is an expression of each human being's intrinsic yearning for happiness, the happiness that we seek and pursue. It is a pilgrimage, seeking a goal that we set for ourselves. It is taking chances deprived of everything else. The only thing that migrants have left to draw strength from is hope and the memory of loved ones for whom they pray along the way. What do migrants want? They may be seeking new and better options for meeting basic needs, having a better quality of life, or even keeping themselves alive. Most important of all, the majority of migrants also carry with them a profound spirituality. They believe in a powerful force that moves with them, whom many call God, which inspires movement. This force inhabits them when they feel they have lost everything. How can this force manifest itself? It is reflected in others. When migrants are with people who embrace them without suspicion, this confirms, regenerates, and renews the promise that through the people around them, God provides them guides and accompanies them on this journey. Through dangerous lands, surrounded by people that could do harm, migrants find in their pilgrimage individuals who, grounded in shared humanity, align themselves with migrants. They welcome without recrimination, condemnation, or racist attitudes, but with hospitality and solicitude. A place to sleep, a meal, clothing, shoes, or a phone call to family. To migrants, these gestures, small but simultaneously momentous, become palpable signs of hope, a blessing from God amidst calamity. They are a manifestation of God's love. You can see the features of migrants' religious spirituality in expressions of gratitude for assistance received, when they pray fervently, bow their head, make the sign of the cross before a religious image. When migrants say goodbye, they ask for a blessing, that things will go well when crossing or returning home. These religious expressions show that their hearts carry in them an altar brimming with belief, experiences of faith, and many offerings, and that they offer themselves too. Sheltering someone who is a migrant offers the possibility of encountering oneself, encountering the deepest aspects of lived experience. Migrants find open doors and renewed faith, showing itself through acts of compassion. They offer the chance for us to humanize ourselves and know who we truly are. In those moments, they humanize themselves. When we interact with, spend time with, and allow migrants into our lives, we soon discover that despite the mishaps, mistreatment, and accumulated pain, they are individuals who keep hope alive. It can be said that lives of pilgrimage, migrant lives filled with hope and surrounded by suffering, are sacred. Despite the physical and human walls that bar the path to their dreams, or which separate them from loved ones, many keep trying to cross. Why? Because inside they keep love alive and the faith that God will help them. They trust. They have a certainty that tells them that there is a shared humanity that cannot be divided by political boundaries. It is simply through trust and encounters with people and places that take them in, heal, feed, and shelter them, keep them from the cold, and give them water and strength, that these pilgrims will continue to experience the closeness of God and that He will not abandon them. Spirituality in the life of many migrants means trusting their lives to God the pilgrim, who travels with them, offers consolation and protection, and gives them strength. It is not a spirituality of adventure. Rather, it is the spirituality of life lived in the Spirit. A spirituality that knows suffering and endures, carrying on with hope and dignity.
Thank you, choir. That was beautiful. Thank you, thank you. Good morning, I'm Nancy Spargo, and I'm going to talk to you a little something about the American dream. When you think about the American dream, what comes to your mind? Is it freedom? Justice? Economic opportunities? Is the American dream for everyone? Who believes in the American dream? What about the people who are left behind? Those that never had a chance? As people of privilege, we aren't automatically obligated to confront the realities that some people do, whether it's ability, race, religion, gender or gender identity, sexual orientation, or nationality. These are just a few characteristics that automatically alter the access to the American dream. We're going to explore the experience of the foreign-born today. And as many of you may know, the view of America, at least until very recently, has been that it is a land of opportunity. The streets are paved with gold. We don't have poverty, and corruption is not tolerated. Anyone who knows anything about our criminal justice system, our education system, our healthcare, housing, economy, let alone our government, usually knows it through their own personal experience. Maybe a diligent effort to be informed and not turn our heads, and or a willingness to forego some of the comforts that our privilege affords us. So who are the foreign-born in the St. Louis region? They are immigrants and refugees. They are workers invited to fill jobs with specific skills that are in short supply, and they are students. Immigrants and refugees make up about 5% of the St. Louis region currently, with Indians being the largest group, followed by Mexicans, Chinese, Bosnians, and Vietnamese. Newer and growing groups include Afghans and Hondurans. I'm going to share 3 stories to illustrate some pathways to the United States and their view of the American dream. Here is the first, which is the first-hand account of a Ukrainian woman, told in her voice. Like many people all over the world, my life was dealt to me like cards in a card game, only this wasn't recreation, this was survival. It was a family situation that exposed me to abuse and neglect, but thankfully, I was also dealt determination and intellect. I eventually married and became a mother, only to realize that the relationship with my husband was also abusive. With my young daughter in tow, I moved to Kiev. I made a life for us as a single mother through sacrifice and determination. I finished my university studies and I kept going. I eventually became a doctor and then a gynecologist. Our needs were met, we were comfortable, and yet something was missing. I met my American husband online. We had a long-distance relationship and visited several times. Eventually, I made the decision to marry and move to the United States. My daughter was already a young adult, and she was making her own way in the world. The transition wasn't quite what I expected. We lived in a very small, crowded apartment. I didn't have a car, which it turns out is essential here in St. Louis. I learned that I couldn't continue my career without repeating some of my coursework, residency, and the boards. And yet, my career was a big part of my identity. I was lucky to connect with people who could introduce me to others, and eventually found my way back to medicine in a related field that requires minimum training. When some people found out that I had been an MD in my home country, they judged me, concluding that I must have lost my ability to practice due to incompetence or unethical conduct, unaware that my license and credentials did not transfer to this country. Shortly after arriving to the United States, Russia invaded Ukraine. My daughter was in danger. All of a sudden, I had to return, which was a very big, unexpected expense. And I was not allowed to re-enter Ukraine. So I had to wait in a border country, guiding her and our little dog to safety. Those were some really difficult days, but upon securing her safety, we then turned to the task of gaining legal entry to the United States. The lines were long. We were in a foreign country, navigating a crisis. We eventually went to a different country and were able to complete the necessary transactions to be able to come back to the United States together. It was several weeks of instability and fear due to the lack of guarantee that we would succeed in getting her permission to come to the United States. Back in the US, I have relaunched my daughter, and she is thriving in California. I have explored multiple pathways, related fields, and degrees to be able to practice the work that I love. I continue to adjust to the lifestyle of the Midwest, the values and the views. As an immigrant, although I have white skin, I have an accent, and upon interacting with others, I'm viewed as foreign. That transition has been inconsistent. I'm grateful to have found some people who accept me, are interested in me and my culture and aspirations. Some of them have supported me financially when I had to return from my daughter, and some helped me navigate career pathways. But many others have been judgmental, impatient with my English, and have made me feel unwelcome. 5 years later, I have obtained my citizenship, and I'm back in school in an accelerated program that will allow me to practice my career as an advanced practice nurse, the closest I will come to my MD from home. The second story is about an Afghan family. During the war in Afghanistan, many Afghan nationals worked with the U.S. government and military. They served as translators, guides, and partners. They trusted us. And in doing so, they put their lives and the lives of their families at risk. As the Taliban started to regain power, those who had worked with Americans found themselves at risk. Translators who once trained police officers began to realize that some of the very men they had trained had switched sides. The danger was no longer distant. It was personal, and it was here. So in recognition of that risk, the United States created a legal pathway to safety through the Special Immigration Visa, or the SIV program. The screening process was rigorous, requiring months or even years of documentation, verification by U.S. supervisors, background checks, medical screenings, proof upon proof upon proof. For one local family, that process took 3.5 years. Finally, in the fall of 2020, they arrived. They received their green cards. The family started to rebuild their lives. The father found work. The children enrolled in school. The eldest daughter is now a college freshman. She and her sister have their driver's licenses. The whole family is thriving. And last fall, they reached 5 years of legal permanent residency and became eligible for citizenship. They studied, they prepared, and they followed every rule once again. The eldest daughter passed her test and was invited to a naturalization ceremony. The father, having learned English for his work as a translator, also passed with no difficulty, but was told that his application needed to go through an additional review. The mother, who had not been allowed to go to school during the Taliban era in the 90s, had studied English diligently and prepared for the reading, writing, and civics-related portions of the test. She was the last one to receive her interview appointment. And then everything stopped. There was a tragic shooting of 2 guardsmen in West Virginia by an Afghan national, November 26th. The following day, the U.S. government announced an indefinite pause on the processing of all immigration applications for Afghan nationals. All of the appointments for this family were abruptly canceled. No hearing, no explanation, no timeline, just silence. This family came to the U.S. seeking safety, believing it to be a nation where citizens are protected and everybody is governed by the rule of law, where those who break the law would have due process and accountability. They came here for opportunity, especially for their children who can get educated here regardless of their gender. They followed every single legal requirement on their path to citizenship. Yet, despite doing everything asked of them, they now find themselves blocked, waiting in uncertainty for what comes next. Our last story is another first-hand account, this time of a Bosnian woman. In the 1990s, when my parents brought me to the United States as a 2-year-old refugee, some might have called it a dream come true. America was supposed to be safety, opportunity, the promise of a future untouched by war. For many looking in from the outside, it was the American dream realized. But what is often overlooked are the hardships that come with a new opportunity that nobody asked for. We didn't come to America chasing wealth or adventure. We came to survive. My parents fled the genocide in Bosnia and Herzegovina, escaping a reality where staying another day could mean facing a concentration camp or worse. To the world, arriving in the United States may have looked like fortune. To us, it was refuge, the difference between life and death. When people think of the U.S., they imagine worries fading away, hardship dissolving at the border. But fear does not disappear overnight. Trauma doesn't dissolve with a new zip code. And opportunity is not handed out at the airport. We arrived with no English, no savings, and no roadmap. We slept on a stranger's floor. Months passed with little to no income. We left behind a place we called home, a place where my parents had built stable lives, and entered a country where none of that history mattered. In America, our degrees, our experience, our former stability, they meant nothing. We were starting from zero. Coming to the U.S. meant learning a new language by necessity, not by choice. It meant being bullied in school because English was not my first language. I came home crying most days, begging not to go back. It meant watching my parents carry a quiet defeat in their eyes as they tried to reconcile the dream they had been promised with the reality that we were living. My mother wanted to work. She needed to work, but there was nowhere to leave me. Childcare was a luxury we could not afford. My father took several jobs, working long hours for just a few dollars an hour, barely enough to cover rent. We lived in an unsafe neighborhood because it was all we could afford. He left before sunrise and returned after sunset, exhausted but determined. His only goal was to save enough to move us somewhere safer, somewhere better, to pull us out of the environment that was swallowing us. I lost years of time with my father. Ordinary evenings, small moments, they slipped by while he worked tirelessly. At the time, I felt the absence. Now, I understand the sacrifice. He wasn't choosing work over family. He was choosing survival. He was building something paycheck by paycheck so that I could one day stand on solid ground. Nothing was handed to us. There were no shortcuts, no guarantees. The American dream did not greet us at the door. It had to be fought for, earned, and slowly built from the ground up. Was it a dream at first? No. It was exhaustion. It was fear, loneliness, and resilience all tangled up together. It was my parents swallowing their pride and starting over in a country that didn't know and didn't care about their story. But over time, their sacrifice became the foundation of our future. What began as mere survival slowly turned into stability. What felt like defeat became quiet strength. The American dream, I've learned, is not the absence of struggle. For refugees like us, it is the opportunity to struggle safely, to work without the threat of war, to build without the fear of genocide, to hope without the shadow of violence. We didn't come for comfort, we came for life. And from that, my parents built a dream. Not the one we imagined when we arrived, but one forged through resilience. Is the American dream all that we thought it would be? Maybe, maybe not. What do these stories illustrate for you? How is this relevant to your life? How is it relevant to our community here at Eliot Chapel? Our privilege provides us with the opportunity to turn our head, to live comfortably, to avoid the pain and suffering of others. Yet we're all connected. The struggle of one child, of one family, it impacts those around them. The struggles impact upon our resources and how we choose to allocate them. To help someone else requires some type of sacrifice. I'm going to repeat that. To help someone else requires some type of sacrifice. Whether it be time, money, or sometimes even relationships with others. Sometimes all of the above. As a helper in this world, it is burdensome to confront the realities of injustice, fear, suffering, and inequality. It requires strength, it requires valor, and it requires commitment. Sometimes we become fatigued, sometimes overwhelmed and fearful ourselves. And that's when I ask myself, is my comfort more important than the life of a child or of a mother caring for that child? And so I lean on my village. I get back up and I keep going. Immigration justice puts our faith into practice. It requires that we act with the knowledge of why people need our help, that we seek to understand the systemic issues, the role we may unwittingly play to sustain those systems, and to take action. Putting our faith into practice involves decisions about how we allocate our own resources of time, talent, relationships, and treasure. So what is it that you are willing to do to make a difference for our neighbors? Where can you invest your efforts? How are you putting your faith into practice? If you are unsure or you need ideas of how to make a difference in the lives of immigrants and refugees, we have a sign-up sheet so that you can join our mailing list and learn about all the many opportunities there are in our community and within. You can attend our planning meetings on the fourth Tuesday of every month. Or you can join us right here in the sanctuary at 12:30 today, where we will be hosting a seminar called The Current State of Immigration in St. Louis. And we will have 2 guest speakers who will outline what's happening locally right now on the streets of St. Louis and offer concrete ways that we, together as a community, can respond with awareness, compassion, and action to stand in solidarity with our immigrant neighbors. Please come support your immigration justice team.
And now please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 30.
Hi there. Now, really quickly, I don't mean to hijack our closing hymn, but I'm gonna a little bit because I heard that you guys have not sang Lift Every Voice this month, and this is the last Sunday in Black History Month. So I wanted to make sure, in addition to singing Over My Head, which the Immigration Justice team planned very well, I'd also like to sing the first verse of Lift Every Voice and sing immediately after, and that is hymn 149. So we'll start with Over My Head, though. Voices on 149, we'll do verse 1.
Let us extinguish our chalice and share our benediction. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now, may the Spirit of life hold you, may love bless you, and may joy find a place in your days. Love to you all. Go in peace.